to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Predator: Killer of Killers, released in 2025. Killer of Killers is the 6th feature-length entry in the Predator series. It comes 3 years after Prey, the shockingly good installment that saw a Yautja fighting Comanche warriors in the 18th century Great Plains. Prey's director Dan Trachtenberg was given the chance to expand the Predator universe further, and another live-action film was soon announced, Predator: Badlands, which releases to theaters next week. But before you could finish the pet goat, news of a second Predator follow-up hit the trades. Turns out Trachtenberg had secretly been working on an animated installment called Killer of Killers. Prey opened the door for Predators to fight people from different historical periods, and Killer of Killers delivers on that potential threefold.
I think the expected thing for us to do was to thrust the Predator into another time period. And the thing that we were really thrilled about was, what if we put him in 3?
We witness a sort of Predator tourism as various Yautja seek out worthy challengers across Earth's history, bringing them into conflict with Vikings, samurai, and World War II fighter pilots. It feels like getting to mash all your action figures together, and it's just fucking awesome, man. But Killer of Killers isn't just a cool film, it's a good one too. Trachtenberg wanted situations and characters that were interesting before a Predator even showed up. He succeeds with simple setups and straightforward stories that are immediately recognizable in rich historical settings. And it's all done in a fun animation style, inspired by and partially created by the team behind the series Arcane. This movie is a lean, mean action showcase with a whole bunch of incredibly violent kills. They say, Zoran, what is this?
Hey, you stay back, sicko. I can't be getting sick, so just stay there while I treat you with this great new remedy I heard about. Just gonna suck that sickness right off you. Hey, do it.
Stop! There's no way that this is effective. Or sanitary. You can't just believe everything you read on the internet. You've got to talk to healthcare professionals. You know, people who are trained and understand your personal needs. And today's sponsor, ZocDoc, makes it easy. ZocDoc allows you to search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment.
Okay, well, that's okay. I don't really have time to...
What, to find a doctor? Good thing ZocDoc makes it easy. You're able to filter from over 100,000 doctors from any specialty based on patient rating, distance, and whether they're under your insurance. Then you can see actual appointment openings and instantly book a time slot that works for you, with many available in just 24 to 72 hours.
Okay, fine. But when my new doctor tells me about the wonders of vacuum healthcare, there's sure gonna be egg on your face. I'm gonna vacuum it off of this too.
My egg facial alone keeps me youthful looking. Get healthcare from the professionals. Go to ZocDoc.com/deadmeat to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/deadmeat. ZocDoc.com/deadmeat. They say history is written by the victors, but will those victors have mandibles and cool dreadlocks? Let's find out and get to the kills. The movie begins with the Yautja's guiding edict. Go find badasses and fuck them up, son! It's like their every day is the first day in prison, and the only way to become a title phrase. Killer of Killers is divided into segments, giving it a refreshing and almost anthological feel. In fact, we maybe should have done this in the Dead Meat video style, but we just kind of forgot to. Whoops. The first segment, The Shield, begins with CM Punk needing help against John Cena and It begins on Earth in the year 841 AD, the furthest back in history we've ever seen a Yautja. One of their ships approaches the planet as way down below, a clan of Vikings set out on some vessels of their own. Among them are Anders and his battle axe mom Ursa, a white-haired widowmaker who wants this hunt to be a teachable experience.
Tell me why we fight.
Because our enemy still lives.
Their enemy is the Krivich, and their mission is all about one thing.
Killing the Krivich.
AKA making my life difficult. We don't get to see the actual battle, but we do see 16 bodies to add to the count. We're only gonna count what we see, even though Ursa's attempting a whole goddamn genocide. She says she wants to kill every Krivich she sees, from Krivich A to Krivich Z. The themes of historical violence and genocide that drives people out of their homes connected with co-writer Micho Robert Rutare, since he's half Rwandan Tutsi. Rutare penned the screenplay alongside Trachtenberg, helping flesh out his initial ideas about the Predator's opponents in each segment. Ursa has left one prisoner alive for a piñata party interrogation. She's trying to find the Krivich leader, a man by the name of
Zoran.
Oh, hey, we've got one of those.
Where is Zoran?
He's right here.
What are you doing? You're gonna get me killed!
You touched my titty. I just thought you'd want to hang out with your buddy Brock Powell, who voices this Krivich henchman. Brock's a good friend of ours and has done voice work for Dead Meat before.
Oh yeah, critters!
The hench Krivich tries to be tough, but Ursa's gonna hack him apart. I mean, she's got an army, and she'll teach Anders how to act like a man. But even though she tells Squirt to get to killing, he can't do it, so she handles business by cutting the dude in half at the waist. Seems like a good reason to worry. Ursa is voiced by Lindsay Levanchi, who appeared in the Scream MTV series, while Anders is voiced by Damian Haas. He's best known to internet folk as a cast member of Smosh, and he's also helped Chelsea a ton in her voice acting career. Thanks, Damian. To help motivate Anders, that night Ursa explains their family's history with Zoran. When she was a little girl, Zoran and his men slaughtered her people, pushing them out of their land and adding at least 5 Vikings to the kill count. Ursa's father Einar was injured during the battle, and Evil Z-Man gave the daddy-daughter pair 2 options. He would either kill Ursa right there on the spot, or he'd let her live as long as she killed her pops. Einar wanted her to live so she could get vengeance on Zoran later, so he gave her a pep talk.
You will find strength in this.
And told her to be a good little girl, helping her kill him so she could live to fight in the future. Einar's badass status is solidified by his voice actor Doug Cockle, aka Geralt of Rivia from the Witcher game series. Ursa's forced fratricide has haunted her and made her the bloodthirsty monster she is today. What she doesn't know is that there's an even bloodthirstier monster watching from afar, a big bad Pretty Man who's been tracking them since the battlefield earlier. He's still browsing in incognito mode because he hasn't yet found an alpha worthy of fighting. In the morning, the Vikings make their way to Zoran's stronghold full of Krivich. The Krivich were an early Slavs tribe, and yes, our Zoran is also Slavic, but his lineage is Southern Slavs since his family's from Serbia. The Krivich were East Slavs, closer to Russians and Ukrainians. Though the segment isn't based on real historical figures, it was inspired by the conflict between Varangian Vikings and local Slavic populations. Ursa knocks on the front door with nothing but her shields. They serve her just fine in decapitating one Krivich clansman, kicking off a very violent 1.5-minute long one-take. During it, I counted 50 kills by going frame by frame and including anyone slashed with a blade, meaning Anders gets a kill counted when he takes a dude out with a spear. Most of the kills came from Ursa running amok with her shield, which provided a lot of good creative carnage. A few kills came from her lieutenants, the wolf head wearing Gunnar, the big old beardy Ivar, and the crazy lady Freya. What a gang of lovable misfits. I didn't count dudes who just got tossed aside or hit with a blunt object like a spear pole, but I did count all 13 guys who got crushed by a falling tower, and made sure not to double count them when Ursa double tapped a few. The final kill of the sequence is a bookmark to the first, another badass shield decapitation. While an animated Wonder doesn't have the same challenges as live action film, this is still an impressive feat of choreography and pacing, and also like render time probably. Killer of Killers was animated by The Third Floor, whose CCO Josh Wasung also served as the movie's co-director. The studio was normally known for pre-visualization. Killer of Killers marked their first foray into full-scale feature animation. Instead of working in industry standard programs like Maya or Nuke, Killer of Killers was created entirely in Unreal Engine using a custom real-time animation pipeline. Over 100 artists worked on this thing at the same time. What? One of their biggest inspirations was Arcane, whose lead animator Stephen J. Meyer was brought in as head of character animation. Similarly to recent movies like Into the Spider-Verse, much of Killer of Killers was animated on twos, meaning characters had one pose every 2 frames. It's a style that harkens back to stop motion and older animation studios, who shot on 12 frames per second instead of 24 to save time and money.
But it was all really as an effort to nod to historic, history of animation, but also so that we could pause it any given time, have no motion blur, and for it to look like the whole thing was illustrated and painted.
The animators switched back to the more traditional one pose per frame for more action-oriented scenes, like major fight scenes and specific vehicle and camera movements. With his men dead, the only one left is Zoran himself. Ursa makes her grand entrance.
My name is Ursa, daughter of Einar.
But Zoran says he doesn't even remember anyone named Elmer, and basically tells her to get back in the kitchen. His words seem to rattle Ursa, but no worries, because Anders is able to step up and step in to defend his mom. It's a pretty sweet moment as far as violent Viking revenge killings go. What a sweet young son Anders is. But when you beat the man, you then be the man, so his victory is cut short by a sonic boom sucker punch. The Predator has finally found an alpha, kinda, so he's entered the battle, and he is one chonky boy. The Vikings call him Grendel, the monstrous villain villain of the epic poem Beowulf, but the wiki refers to him as the brute predator, so yeah, we'll go with that. Old Broody makes short work of the assembled warriors, massacring 2 of the nameless grunts before moving on to the lieutenants. He drives Gunnar into the ceiling like a lawn dart head first, and splatters Freya against a load-bearing pillar, leaving spikes in her face. After checking on Anders, Ursa and her second-in-command Ivar attack together. The brute predator packs a powered-up punch, thanks to that sonic prosthetic arm, and it lets him turn Ivar into one of those Mortal Kombat spine trophies that Yautja frickin' loved. Anders joins in with a spear, but it's a fight he can't win, so Ursa assists by further destroying the building's structural integrity. Anders is trapped beneath the debris, but Ursa blocks the brute's, what is that, a down-forward low punch probably? With her handy shields. The attack still destroys one of them and sends her and the rest of the building crashing into the frozen lake below. A jump scare, avenge me, wakes her back up, allowing her to swim up to an air pocket. In an awesome shot, we see her waiting as the Pretty Boy approaches from the other side of the ice. It looks like he spotted her, but turns out he hasn't, cause that dummy relies on heat. He can't see shit! Haha, stupid ugly motherfucker. Seriously though, this is what hulked out Predator. Like, you know he was crushing beer cans on his head back at you of Pred. Nah, I'm just kidding. I mean, you know this guy went to Predator State. Ursa has a brief rest and recovers among the Viking ship graveyard. The brute predator blasts his way through the place, but it's Ursa who gets the anchor drop on him. She taps out the ice cube and don't break the ice, and sends both of them into the watery depths below. Grendel gets caught up in the anchor's chain and very nearly takes Ursa down with him. But after a short tussle, she baits the predator into firing his sonic boom, sending him to his sonic doom with a mouthful of anchor. Get wrecked, dude! You know, like shipwrecked? Yeah? It's good. Ursa is sent flying up to the lake's surface. Good job, lady. You successfully defended your son. Oh shit. Anders, what are you doing bleeding out in the snow? Your mom just killed a predator! You should be proud of her! But this ungrateful snot doesn't care, and he dies from his injuries in his mother's arms. You can't blame yourself, Ursa. You tried. As she grieves, the scene fades away and reveals she's aboard some sort of futuristic prison transport. She ain't alone either. She's got a meditating cellmate who takes us into the next segment called The Sword. It starts with a poem.
この葉は共に育つが兄上共には散らぬ
It's 1609 in the Edo period of Japan. Brothers Kenji and Kiyoshi love to tee-hee together, raking up the forest in the most inefficient manner I've ever seen, and fishing for killer clowns. Sorry kids, I don't think that river has a sewer. But their dad is a samurai warlord who needs a worthy heir. He makes them engage in blood sport, probably so he can film it and sell it as bloody boy battles on the internet. Kenji doesn't want to take the bait, but Kiyoshi's all like, fuck that man, I want to wear that sweet helmet when I'm older. He charges at Kenji and beats his brother down, drawing blood and achieving the ultimate victory, being daddy's #1 candy baby. Yeah, Kenji, keep running, little bitch! 20 years later, their father passes away, leaving his legacy to the now adult Kiyoshi. Little does he know, Kenji has returned as a fully grown and bearded, swamp man with a plan. During the funeral ceremony, Kenji infiltrates his brother's castle and neutralizes a patrol guard with a blow dart. I'm gonna make a call here and say it was non-lethal. Any ninja experts, feel free to dispute it in the comments. That's called engagement. Unbeknownst to Kenji, another intruder is already here, an assassin Yautja, who, according to the Predator Hunting Grounds mobile game, is called the Oni Predator. He takes his nickname from the Japanese Oni, a cannibalistic monster roughly equivalent to a Western ogre or troll. Onis were all over the first season of Fortnite's latest chapter, and the namesake of my beloved Oni shotgun. How I miss your range! Kenji's spotted by a guard, but he grapples him before he can ring the alarm. A fight breaks out with the Watchtower's other guards, and Kenji has to use his skills to keep things silent and mostly bloodless. Dude is multitasking to the max, catching one samurai before he falls over the side while blocking a hammer strike with another one's head. He knocks out the remaining two with a headbutt by proxy, but his stealth mission fails when a guy in another tower sees him and sounds the alarm. With his cover blown, non-lethal goes out the window, starting with this one guard who goes over the edge. Although I am gonna assume his buddies at the bottom are okay. Kiyoshi and his men put the place on lockdown, shutting themselves in only to get smoked out. Amidst the confusion, Kenji cuts through 6 samurai, leaving just him and his brother after the smoke clears. Trachtenberg came up with the feudal Japan segment first, based on the popular pop culture matchup between ninjas and samurai. It was also the Predator setting that I most wanted to see after Prey. Let's see a samurai version. I love how this segment doesn't take the same approach as the first one. Like, it's not opposing ninja armies or anything. It's just one brother infiltrating his former home to kick his brother's ass and end a 20-year grudge. Kenji attacks, using his ninja's arsenal of weapons to show off plenty of cool combat. I like that his chain whip thing can be used for offense, defense, and mobility. Now, if only it restored health and shields and provided cover, it would handle everything. Their fight extends into the rafters and gets taken to the throne room, like an actual one, not a bathroom, where Kyoshi equips his armor fast enough to fend off his attacks. After a lengthy clashing of blades, Kenji gets his brother on the ropes. But turns out he's not here to kill him, he's just here to make things even by giving him a matching cheek scar. Too bad their pops cheaped out on this temple's construction, because Kyoshi falls to his apparent death way down below. Kenshi has no idea how to feel about that, so he reflects on the man who tore them apart, only for the Oni Predator to tear through his reflection, clawing out his papa's mouth and into the fight. Kyoshi's remaining guards have been trying to break in, so Kenji opens the door and feeds them to the beast. One guard is quickly dispatched with a Billy Hitchcockian decapitation. His buddy gets pinned to the wall by the Predator with the same chain weapon. The last guard tries to flee, but gets impaled by a spear that opens up to cut him in half. Hell yeah! Kenji observes his new foe, but ain't no hiding in the shadows from heat vision. The Oni Predator sets off after him, eviscerating 2 more unlucky guards who happen to get in his way. An explosive charge blasts Kenji onto the rooftops below, but he manages to get the drop on the Oni with a toe tapping. After a radical rooftop surfing sesh, Kenji sets off one of his gender reveal bombs to find his Invisifoe. He delivers 2 knife throws into his torso, then takes a tumble through a window and straight off the side of the castle. It's a steep fall, but Kenji survives by landing in the castle's moat. Of course, as the lack of kill graphic indicated, Kyoshi did too, and bro's still fit enough for a fight. Kenji quiets his brother down, which feels like a good time to point out this segment's silence. Aside from the opening narration, it has had absolutely no dialogue. Instead, the story's been told entirely through action, and to make sure that action was good, Trachtenberg brought in praise stunt coordinator Jeremy Marinus. Marinus and his team worked extensively on this segment, choreographing fight scenes with historical weapons and accurate martial art forms. The Oni Predator attacks the pair, but Kyoshi unexpectedly saves his brother, taking a double blade to the gut in the process. Kenji returns the favor by saving his head from that expanding spear. They join forces and use their swords to defend their necks from going the way of this tree trunk. I love the chainsaw-like effect the grappling chain has when it cuts straight through it. Kenji stabs the Predator in the arm, causing him to miss Kyoshi and spill his explosive goodies on the ground. The Predator eventually sword fights Kyoshi to submission, but when he grapples with Kenji, his crane game pulls back the wrong kind of prize. It messes him up, but he's not quite ready for his kill graphic yet. For that, both brothers retrieve their weapons and face each other once more. But they're not gonna fight each other, they're just waiting for a leaf to show them where to strike. With that knowledge, they charge at each other and work in tandem to turn the Yaochai into a sushi roll. Probably a premium one too, cost you extra. Call that shit the fluorescent roll. With their foe vanquished, Kyoshi begins to succumb to his injuries. He repeats the segment's opening poem, but this time Kenji adds a follow-up verse.
されどは一人ではござりませぬ。一人ではござりませぬぞ。弟よ。
Both brothers are voiced by Louis Ozawa, who previously played Yakuza assassin Hanzo in 2010's Predators. In fact, these brothers may be part of the same family line as Hanzo, if the internet is to be believed, and the internet never lies. With their relationship reconciled, Kyoshi sadly dies beside his brother. Kenji fades back to his present prisoner status, where we see a third and final cellmate wearing old-timey dog tags. Glenn Miller's In the Mood plays us into the final standalone segment, called The Bullet. It begins in Florida in 1941, where Latin American John Torres loves driving fast and sounding like a dog. But he's got bigger dreams than driving around on land. He wants to drive around the skies too, and pollute the fuck out of the place, jeez. But he'll need to up his mechanic game if he wants to be like Owen Wilson in Life Aquatic.
I'm a pilot.
So far, he's been relying on his dad, a vibes-based mechanic who fixes cars like Owen Grady tames dinosaurs. But it's time for Torres to get his head out the clouds and bring him back down to Earth, cause his ass just got drafted into a little thing called World War II. Maybe you've heard of it?
I'm done bailing you out, mijo. You have to bail yourself out from now on.
1 year later, Torres is on a battleship, or carrier, or whatever the proper name is for this big-ass boat, in the North Atlantic campaign, which lasted pretty much the entirety of the war. The segment's titular bullet is an old Wildcat fighter that Torres has been fixing up in his free time, to mixed results. He'd rather be up in the sky with the rest of his squadron, but he's still getting told no by an old dude in charge, in this case, Commander Vandenberg, or Vandy.
Sir, I'm a pilot.
Doesn't look like it to me, son.
An alarm bell sends everyone top deck, where some of their pilots have been wiped out by an unknown enemy.
I never seen anything like it.
Hooks in the sky! Hooks in the sky!
Vandy takes their squadron, the Texas Aces, to meet their airborne adversary. Torres stays behind to examine the mysterious weapon that brought down their planes. It's seemingly impenetrable until he hits it with heat. Then it nearly kills his garage buddy Delgado and drags a fuselage to parts unknown. Torres isn't sure what they're dealing with, but it sure ain't good. Unfortunately, there's no way to radio a warning to the Aces, who are currently in a dogfight with French fighter planes. If you're wondering why the US are fighting the French here, it's because they're Vichy fighters, French collaborators of the Nazi government after the invasion of France in 1940. You know, little bitches. This air fight is shown in bits and pieces, but we do see at least one Vichy plane get shot down by the Aces. Meanwhile, Torres decides to deliver the warning himself in the bullet. He fixes it up best he can, but it's not until he remembers his training that he's able to use the Force and become one with the plane. Upon launch, the plane mistakenly believes itself to be a boat, but eventually he gives the craft a reminder of its airborne abilities and takes to the sky. He arrives just as his squadron shoots down the last of the Vichy fighters. Haha, get fucked! Torres tries to tell them they've got bigger problems to deal with, but it's too late, as one of those hooks yoinks an Ace into a distant explosion. We don't see the scale of their enemy until another fighter crashes into their cloaked assailant. A giant Yautja fighter ship. Oh man, this is the Tantive 4 versus the Devastator all over again! The craft is helmed by a Predator who looks like a goddamn space pirate. Seriously, this dude could have been in Disney's Treasure Planet. To help design the movie's various Yautja, Trachtenberg brought on effects artist Alec Gillis as an advisor and designer. Gillis previously did practical effects for Prey, but was excited to work on an animated film, since it meant his designs weren't limited by the need to fit a human performer. Trachtenberg wanted to expand the world of Yautja and showed that this species is just as varied as human beings. He wanted to avoid the Star Wars trope, where, for instance, all the Wookiees on Kashyyyk look like Chewbacca with little variation. Yeah, that's fine, dude, as long as Yautja still get to celebrate Life Day and watch VR porn or whatever Itchy was up to. We've seen the Yautja use more advanced tech than their foes before, but it feels especially unfair here as this pilot trumps the Aces. He disassembles one plane with a hook that yanks its pilot straight out the cockpit in an awesome shot. I remember they used this shot in the trailer and it was hype! Another hook sends one Ace swinging directly into one of his buddies for a double kill. And a final fighter pilot is killed when the Predator roasts him alive. Wait a minute, I thought jet fuel can't melt Texas Aces. Huh, guess I was wrong. The resulting explosion sets one of Torres' engines on fire, forcing him to go out on the wing to put it out.
What the hell are you doing? What the hell am I doing?
Oh, we're doing those kind of quips? Okay. One more unnamed Ace has survived long enough to get in a zinger himself.
You missed me, sucker!
But he's still unnamed, meaning he's a dead man flying. The Predator fires a classic Yautja weapon, the net gun, which shrink wraps around the plane and takes its wings off. Then it heats up and slices through the rest of it, as well as the pilot, turning him into pieces that fly by Torres. Oh man, this shit is so cool. Using his best Harrison Ford impression,
Get off my plane!
Torres manages to dislodge his flaming engine. It draws the auto-aim of the Predator's next hook shot, giving Torres his obligatory "they see with heat" moment. You know, after literal centuries of losing with heat-seeking technology, you'd think the Yautja would have found a better option by now. Torres wants to head back to base for backup, but Vandy tells him no one's coming, echoing his father's words from earlier.
It's just you and me here, son. No one is coming to bail us out.
Vandy is voiced by Michael Biehn, last seen on The Kill Count in Terminator and Aliens. With his appearance here, Biehn joins Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen as the third actor to fight a Terminator, a Xenomorph, and a Yautja. Quite the exclusive club. Torres hatches a plan to trick the Predator's heat sensors. He and Vandy fly so high into the sky that the atmosphere starts freezing their planes. At the last minute, Vandy decides to sacrifice himself to buy Torres some time.
Torres, you're flying now.
He can fly now? Ah, damn it, now I'm doing it too! While Torres shuts his engines off, Vandy keeps his red hot and allows the Predator to laser lasso his plane. It's a noble death, but still a graphic one, as his head is taken clean off. Holy shit. I thought he'd go out with more dignity. Damn. Co-writer Rutare wanted this movie's deaths to be over the top, to make the audience laugh with shock at the brutality. You know, the old Mortal Kombat approach, which Predator is, of course, no stranger to. Torres cries for Vandy as the ships continue to climb. God, I love the shot of the ships breaching the cloud ground layer, looking like majestic sea creatures breaching the water surface. Torres is able to fall back and shoot down a Predator turbine. With his ego boosted, Torres goes full Maverick and flies low, leading the Predator into enemy territory and flying him through the city Casablanca. It's like the French Star trench run up in this bitch. Then they fly into a full-on naval battle. Come on, Predator, I thought you loved a good fight. Why can't you fight all these ships? While Torres bobs and weaves, the big bad Predator is eventually sent crashing into the water. Sequences like this big naval battle and Torres on his plane's wing helped sell Trachtenberg on the animated medium, since he couldn't really do stuff like that in live action. He was inspired by a childhood viewing of Katsuhiro Otomo's Akira, whose animated violence left a major impression on him.
And I convinced my mom, who assumed it was a cartoon, it would be fine, to buy it for me, and my mind was absolutely blown away.
Unfortunately, it takes more than a simple crash to keep a good Yautja down, and his ship rises up like an invisible shark, which is probably the plot of like Sharknado 7 or something, I bet. What's funny is that I wrote that joke before I learned that co-writer Rutare actually developed 5 of the 6 Sharknado movies. The more you know. Torres grabs his sentimentals and prepares to bail on the bullet. When the Predator shoots his hook, Torres returns the plane to sender.
Orale!
It wraps around the Yautja ship and sends the fuselage slamming down into the exposed cockpit. Torres lands safely in the water and celebrates the very well-earned massive explosion. His rescue flare takes us home to the Torres family's garage, sometime later enough that he's got a medal. Not sure what took the Predator so long, but rumbling signals the arrival of one of their ships. Despite the 3-dot laser though, these Preddies are here to capture, not kill. They take Torres away and leave legitimate crop circles behind to scare Orson Welles listeners. Torres is awoken from cryosleep sometime later. No year is given, which is intentional, but Trachtenberg says he was asleep for quite some time. Yautja guards outfit him with new neckwear, and he's thrown into the cell with Ursa and Kenji. That brings us up to the current timeline for this final segment, the battle. The language barrier between the characters makes it hard for them to communicate. Torres knows some Japanese from training, but it's so basic it might as well put on Uggs and order a pumpkin spice latte. Don't need Duolingo to understand this Genosian-looking arena though. Thing pretty much says you're fucked in every culture. Turns out we've been witnessing a sort of tournament of champions, with the victors of various Yautja battles being brought in to fight the arena's master of ceremonies.
The Predator Warlord. Yahuak Yi Ai Gong He.
He said the thing! This imposing badass is played by polyglot Britton Watkins, who served as a language consultant and created the Yautja dialogues spoken throughout the film. Watkins previously made the Klingon language for Star Trek Into Darkness. Before they can take on the final boss, the victors will first have to battle with each other. Failure to comply will result in them meeting the same fate as one poor Predator prisoner who's trotted out as an example.
You guys, they put bombs on our necks!
Yes, thank you, Torres. The combatants are provided with weapons to match their skill sets. An axe for Ursa, a sword for Kenji, and for Torres, a gun.
This isn't even from my century!
Yeah, but it is from the end of Predator 2, where it was gifted to Danny Glover for surviving. Its origins were then shown in Prey, where Italian translator Raphael Adolini gave it to Nadu in exchange for healing his injuries. The characters' differing personalities kick into gear. Vengeance-driven Ursa immediately attacks, now determined to avenge her slain son, Anders. But Kenji knows that to defeat the Yautja, they've got to work together. Yeah, Ursa's not a fan of that idea. She does, however, give pause when Torres reminds her of her special boy. But since things are looking too chummy in the pit, the Warlord adds a new enemy to the mix. Oh shit, we really are getting Geonosian up in this bitch! And the Reek equivalent secures a kill by chomping down a Yautja, leaving only its forearm. Huh, I wonder if forearms are like the shrimp tails of Predators. Now with a common enemy, Torres tries to rally the troops.
Listen to me! One of us might win today, but nobody is gonna survive this place!
But then the common enemy gulps him down. Womp womp. Having gained and lost a surrogate son in record time, a newly enraged Ursa, or I guess continued enraged, that chick is always PO'd, joins Kenji in slicing and dicing this beast to bits. Ursa loses her axe, so she switches to a makeshift shield, allowing her and Kenji to both do battle with their respective segment titles. Torres, meanwhile, has been swallowed whole, allowing him to get his hands on the hand of that guard from earlier. Ursa helpfully slices him an escape route before she and Kenji put the monster down with a collaborative throat cutting. Its body is taken out by the cleanup crew, with Torres still tumbling inside. That leaves Ursa and Kenji for a one-on-one battle. I love the way the Old Norse and Japanese languages are translated with their own unique subtitles. Remembering his brotherly duel, Kenji lays down his sword, opening both of them up to an explosive elimination. But the boom doesn't come thanks to Torres, who's somehow figured out how to disable their collars.
Hey guys! Remember me?
God damn it, Torres. Your quips are taking this movie from a 10 to a 9.5 for me. The trio rides their way up to the Warlord, only to get immediately humbled. Guess they're gonna have to learn the same lesson Mama Rhodes did. The final boss is the final boss, y'all. Team Human takes a brutal early pummeling, but the power of teamwork earns them slow motion action shots and a couple of solid hits. Meanwhile, Torres jacks into the Warlord's ship and begins taming it through intuition. The Warlord hits his second wind and starts giving Kenji a new face hole. But before it becomes a list-worthy injury, he gets blasted away by Torres' new ride. The battle buddies make their way to the ship, but a spear throw takes off Kenji's arm in the process. Aw, damn, dude. The wrenches keep coming when a harpoon shot further hampers the trio's escape. Ursa's still Valhalla bound, so she opts to sacrifice herself and ride the Witness Me Express down to the bottom. She destroys the winch and saves the two men she met about 20 minutes ago, who she now feels close enough to call her boys.
Allir I galdar thínar, a keljar greipir, and thou hvamusvenar mínir secundam.
A new escape is just fine for the Yautja though. After all, these motherfuckers live to hunt. The Warlord declares open season on Jawlines, and the movie ends with an army of Yautja setting off to chase down Ursa's boys. An Endstinger sees Ursa refrozen and sent back into the Yautja's Indiana Jones warehouse. She's wheeled past several other prisoners, first a few no-names, and then the ones we all want to see. First, Nadu, Amber Midthunder's character from Prey. Then Mike Harrigan, Danny Glover's character from Predator 2. And finally, for the first time in 40 years, we get to see freaking Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger's hero from the original film. It indicates that everyone who's defeated a Predator has been captured for cold storage, and also explains how Nadu's pistol ended up getting regifted to Danny Glover. How many warriors died in this battle across time? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Let's find out and get to the... Where the fuck is Zoran? Yo, where are you, man? I need you for this to the numbers bit. Dude, you seriously gotta stop using your kid as an excuse. I feel like, shouldn't he be old enough to feed himself by now? Just... Fuck. Alright. Didn't want to have to break into the reserves, but... Should be a good Zorn around here. Ah, yes. He'll do just fine. We counted 109 kills in Predator Killer of Killers. The victims consisted of 108 men and only one Viking woman, giving us a pie chart severely lacking in her story. With a runtime of 85 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 46.79 seconds. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to the Texas Ace that got fished out of his plane. There were plenty of great kills in this movie, but this pilot plucking was the perfect use for this plane-specific Predator weapon. Double shitty for lamest kill will go to Kenji and Kiyoshi's samurai daddy, who was a bad parent and a bad death. And that's it! Predator Killer of Killers was released to streaming in 2025 and was hella well received, with a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Hopefully Badlands will maintain the Predator hype. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Have you lost all your loca motivation? Do you feel like your life's gone off track? Perhaps running out of steam?
I'm far overqualified for the pay I'm supposed to receive.
Well, then you should consider a job at the Charles Mining Company.
Trust me, you'll want to make time for this.
Enjoy the natural beauty of the remote island of Aranirum.
Although, you'll need to be wary of Barry, the swamp monster.
Get to know the friendly and not crazy locals.
I need my pickles!
Because at the Charles Mining Company, we provide thorough training for all new...
Oh God! Why did I say train? He's coming! He's coming!
Do you hear that? It's him! It's him!
Quick! Our only hope is if you gather his eggs and put a stop to this!
Find the eggs.
Yes! The train lays eggs! There's no time to explain! Because this week, you need to ride the rails and defeat the beast known as Choo Choo Charles.
I hope you're ready for a little monster hunt.
Then on Friday, it's all aboard for the Kill Count, only on Dead Meat.
Shoot dang.
Choo Choo Charles can currently be... What is this game? Choo Choo Charles can currently be played on the pictured gaming platforms. Devmeat always recommends you play the game for yourself before its kill count. It's the only way to have your own properly formed opinion. Kill counts are never meant to replace the experience of playing a game.
Thanks a lot for watching this Predator kill count, and happy Halloween! We were supposed to do Stranger Things for our Halloween episode. Actually, before that, it was supposed to be something else, but scheduling and all sorts of shit just fell in on itself, and so now you're getting Predator Killer of Killers. You will get Stranger Things 4 before season 5 premieres, I promise. It's just a big old beefy episode, but we'll have it out in time. Other than that, I think next week we're off, and then we'll have a kill count for you every week until the end of the year. I want to thank some patrons like Brendan Darby, Craig Young, Natalie Pearson, Aviva Artsy, Nicholas Northrup, Andre MW, and Chill Bro Swaggins. Nice, dude. Thanks, everyone. Be good people.